All right, I'm gonna, let me hear, okay, I'm gonna call the meeting to order, North County Regional Fire Authority Commission meeting for December 10th, 2025, 4 p.m. or 1600 military time, and we will first of all call the roll.
I have Commissioner Cade excused today.
Right.
Commissioner Johnson.
Here.
Commissioner Kelly.
Here.
Commissioner Oakes is excused today. He's having internet issues. Commissioner Ertley. Here. Commissioner Schreiber.
Here.
Commissioner Sloan Buchanan. Here. Thank you. 5 present.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public or employee comments signed up for?
No, sir.
No, really? Okay. Do we have a report from the IAFF Local 3438?
Hello, members of the Commission, Administration, members of the public today. Kirk Norman, Local 3438 VP. Thank you for the time to speak today. We have been through a lot this year, but through the hard work and collaboration of the administration, the Commission, and the labor group, we have taken amazing strides to improve this agency together. We bargained a very difficult contract. We grew our training and EMS divisions that much needed the support that they now have. We passed a critical fire levy, and we hired Chief Kraske to lead us in all of these endeavors. Your union members have seen the collaboration that all of us are capable of, and that's huge. Thank you for all of your hard work, and Local 3438 is proud to continue working with all of you to serve this community. It's been a really wonderful process to grow and come together over this last year. This month, the Santa Run's in full swing. As most of you are aware of, we go out in the communities of Stanwood and Arlington and we collect donations for our local food banks, both food and money. We like to get the community involved, and we've seen a lot of involvement from individual community groups and family members, and it's just wonderful to see everybody out there trying to support one another during the holiday seasons. Additionally, the union has taken on 3 families to sponsor this Christmas. We identify them through various resources to get those kids gifts and Christmas dinners that they probably otherwise wouldn't get. So that's one of the other things we're doing right now. And we're all just kind of buttoning up, getting ready to kind of cruise through the holidays and the new year.
Quick question on cash donations or check, whatever. Is it payable to like Stanwood Camino Food Bank? Or
yeah, we take everything and then we transfer it to a single check that we then give to the food banks, and we keep it split between the 2 regions. So anyone who donates in the Stanwood area, that will go to the Stanwood Food Bank, and likewise for Arlington.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
so Chief Kraske will then present a check with Captain Saka to those individual entities so that they can receive and directly benefit
Sure.
those communities.
Okay. Thank you.
We have enjoyed working through the challenges over the last year with all of you, and it hasn't always been easy, but everyone continues to show up. We really appreciate the work, and we're looking forward to continuing to work with you into the next year. If I don't see you folks at the next meeting, if one even happens, I just want to say happy holidays from the labor group and happy new year, and we look forward to continuing this momentum.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. Now I need to move on for a motion to approve the agenda as stated.
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Schreiber. Have a second? Second by Commissioner Ertley. Okay, discussion. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. Now I need a motion for approval of the consent agenda as presented.
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Schreiber. Need a second? So second by Commissioner Ertley again. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Opposed? Nobody? Okay, the consent agenda is approved. Division update, support services. presented by Assistant Chief Doug Tenhoopen.
Okay, good afternoon, Commissioners. This is the, you're going to go to slide presentation?
Well, wait,
You have one there. Okay. I usually divide this report into three, the fleet and apparatus management, the, there you go, the facilities management, and then the rest of my portfolio. So today I'll talk about the rest of the portfolio. Just on the logistics side, that's mostly all of our radios and mobile data computers that we have in each of the rigs. So those are all provided through Snow 911, and the technology in those radios require regular updates, and we can now do those updates over the air. So there's a lot of choreography to get all those rigs through the two fire stations that we have. So at Station 99 and Station 48, we have external antennas that Snow 911 mounted that actually update our radios when they're in the area of those two stations. So the crews do a great job because every single one of their portable radios had to be updated, so they had to get themselves to those stations to do it. All the rigs that are not at those two stations had to make their way over to those stations. Then, of course, all the rigs that are not frontline rigs then have to be brought over there. So it's every time that update happens, it's a pretty big ask. On the mobile data computer system, that is mostly managed through a program through Snow 911 where we pay an annual fee and they manage the those assets from both the modems and the computers through a 5-year period, and then we update every 5 years. So we do those and work with them. And then I'm also managing the FirstNet phone system that we use, and they're not just the cell phones that the staff has, but it's all the other devices that use those air cards, especially the ESO laptops, which is what the crews bring into the patients' houses so they can continue to do their electronic PCR, patient care reports, by having good connectivity to do that from their homes. So, quartermaster program. Right now, we did, and not sure if you realize this, but in 2026, or sorry, that's wrong slide there. In 2025, we hired 29 part-timers, and each one of those requires about 30 to 40 minutes time of me in the quartermaster room to issue them their uniforms and their turnout gears. And then throughout the year, as tenured firefighters and part-timers need gear to be replaced, we replace them. I keep some gear in my rig because some of it's immediate. They just tore their gloves or their mask broke that they need to have it. So a lot of that, when I say unscheduled, comes up. And then structural PPE, you see in the budget, we have a lot of money this year put out towards the turnout gear replacement schedule. We have 28 firefighters that are going to be outfitting in new gear based on the age of their gear, with the addition of the 2 new hires. I did get one of our vendors to give us a set of gear for firefighter Jessica Taylor to wear. They're starting to make turnout gear that are designed for women. So she's going to be wear testing a set to be able to give good feedback to the vendor about that.
what is the usual frequency of gear replacement?
NFPA will say every 10 years you should replace the gear, and we can extend that based on advanced inspections. Sometimes we take gear out before that because depending on how much live fire that a set of gear has sustained, it may be where it got burned or is no longer serviceable after 3 years, depending on the fire. So we look at that, and I try to schedule it so that every full-timer will have a new set of gear no more than 8 years old, and then that gives me 2 years of life on the shelf to issue to the part-timers that we hire, and that's just managing throughput for there.
Who makes that determination, or what guide you go off of to determine that that gear is worn out?
We send it down to Northwest Safety Clean
Okay.
in Oregon if we have any suspicion that, because based on discoloring or what have you
Sure.
from it, if we have any doubt, we'll send it down there, and they will do an advanced inspection down there and send it up and say it's been advanced inspected. They put a label on the inside, the date that it got inspected, and it's good for another year. If
Okay.
it comes back and says it's out of service, then it's out of service.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And that just gives a good chance. And when we talk about turnout gear, just the set of pants and the coat is $4,300 for one pair.
Wow.
Thing. And that doesn't include when we have to outfit a firefighter with a helmet, boots, gloves, hood, SCBA ensemble. So, and just I have a little note there that MES and C Western were the two big vendors that we deal with for turnout gear and that type of thing. And MES just bought C Western, so as of January 1st, it's kind of one company, but they will both still, that one company will still sell more than just the one type of gear that they were selling in the past.
Right.
On the project management side, we don't have any new construction scheduled for 2026, although we want to get into the discussions for the replacements of stations 90 and 96, just based on the overall capital facilities plan that we had done. So those two need to be looked at pretty quick. And then if there's any discussion, the training center committee is talking about any type of expansion, we could potentially do that, or any kind of upgrades to it. And that brings us down to the renovation and upgrade. So a lot of that stuff has to be coordinated through abidance to bid law, being able to, go through all our contracts, get the minimum of 3 bids or more, schedule all that stuff. So it takes a lot of time. We do have scheduled for Station 97 to have the new alerting system installed. That was purchased on the 2025 budget, but that gear just came in from them. So that locution system will be installed in early 26. And then we budgeted for Station 46 to get that new alerting system installed. So that'll happen. And the Verkada access system, that's the new system that's taking over our Salto system for building access. And we're doing one station per year with that system. And Station 97 is the station that is programmed for 2026 to get done. The big things we did in 2025 is we went ahead and converted the diesel exhaust extraction systems that were in the stations 46, 90, and 96 to the Plymouth system, so that now every time we bring an apparatus into a station, no matter what station it is, the tailpipe adapter will fit the existing system that's there. So that's a big thing. We have about 4 more rigs that we need to put a tailpipe adapter on, and then we'll have everything outfitted. So that'll work out well. And then you also saw the new station signage that got put up all over the place. That I think looks really nice. Emergency management is under that as well, and you'll note from my position as the mayor's representative on the board of the DEM advisory board, we do that through the ILA that we have with Stanwood. And during the flood season, I put out a weekly flood forecast. And you'll note that we have a lot of flooding going on right now, so it's a very opportune time to go over the emergency management slide, but we can talk a little bit more about that later. But we're doing a lot of that, and we spent a lot of time this past summer and into the fall going over the Stanwood City's annex to the county's comprehensive emergency management plan, which is updated every 5 years. What's important about that is if the cities don't do their own plan or become an annex to the county's plan, then if there's ever a need for FEMA to provide individual assistance, they will not be allowed or not be given that assistance if they don't have an emergency management plan on the shelf. So that's important to do. There is work being done also on the update to the continuity of operations plan for the city of Stanwood and the continuity of government plan. So we worked on all that for several weeks, and then Chief Kraske and I were at the city council meeting a couple weeks ago, where the city city staff presented to the council to pass and approve that document, and the city or the county DEM had 2 representatives there as well to help brief the council and answer any questions they had. So county was very impressed with the Stanwood Annex and actually took a few things out of what we put in there and made it part of their template. So it was good for them to do. As far as
Can I ask a quick question?
yes.
When you talk about Stanwood approving the compensation plan, has Arlington already done that too?
I don't know. We don't have a contract with the city of Arlington for emergency management services, so I can't speak to where the city of Arlington stands with theirs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I do know that the mayor of Arlington does attend a lot of the DEM briefings, so my guess is they do, but I can't tell you for sure.
Thank you.
On the grant writing side, we did submit some grants in 2025. We put in for in the Department of Ecology spill response, I put in for a hazmat spill trailer as well as a Polaris ATV. And the big push there, if you notice the rail line that comes around through Stanwood and makes that bend through the city and then goes behind all those homes and the big fields behind Florence and everything. If there were ever to be a derailment back there with Bakken fuel oil trains or something like that, there's no way, especially in this time of year where the ground is so soft, for any kind of large fire apparatus to get back there. So the push was to get an ATV that has a skid on it, I call that a skid, that bottom right corner, that has both a firefighter capacity of water and foam, as well as an ability to put a patient there if we had a patient that we had to get to. So we had submitted that. They came back, the Department of Ecology, and because of the FEMA at the federal level changing their available funding, the Department of Ecology has to now redo some of the applications. So they put an email out just last week to say, everybody that submitted one, thank you. It didn't look like we were going to have any money to support it. We have some of the money coming this way, so they're going to have everybody resubmit. So that's where we stand on that. We did also put in for some surplus brush trucks that DNR does every so often, but we did not get selected by DNR because we did not show a financial need as much as others have the need for it. And then we did get a turnout gear extractor through the fire program that Battalion Chief Kuntz had started, and we finished it up, and we have that now installed and operational at the storage building at the training center. So on the admin side, this is just the kind of a newer thing. We had talked about this a little while ago about a plan for.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but that last thing you mentioned about turnout gear extractor installed at the training center, is that just our department's gear, or is it other departments who come there and use it?
It's our gear, and we actually have a sign on it that says this is for North County fire personnel only, because it happens to be in the same building that the Recruit Academy folks use, and so it's known that we're going to put 60 people's worth of stuff through our extractor gear, so they know that's just a North County extractor, and we don't have an extractor at Station 96, so the crews there can come over and use that extractor as well. And then when we do our live fire there for our own crews,
Right.
There's an opportunity for them to put their gear through there as well.
Is there any plan or possibility of trying to turn that into a for-fee ability for other departments to use that extractor? Or is it just too limited?
It has not been discussed. Normally, and Captain Rice left the room. The recruits are Monday through Thursday is at the academy, and then they have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. Traditionally, they would take their gear if it needed to be laundered back to their agency, like on Friday, it would be laundered, and then bring it back on Monday. It is something. It would be a logistical issue as far as time, because it takes about 45 minutes for a load to cycle, and then it's got to be hung to dry or put in a dryer, and then another. So essentially, someone would have to be there for an 8 or 10 hour day to essentially cycle 15 sets of gear probably through a day. Okay. So it'd be quite time consuming, but.
So right now, the practicality of that isn't very high.
Correct.
No,
Okay.
That location was where we had put in, if we recall, we had that other grant for that big system that was like $1 million system that 5 of our agencies were all going to go in together with, and that would have been the system that we would have everyone share and use, but we did not get that grant.
Did that grant just evaporate,
well,
or did it go somebody else?
We had gone through the, if you recall, the congressional avenue, and it made it as far as one of the senators' list was made it to it, but then the amount of funding that they got out of the federal government was not enough to give it to us.
Okay, all right.
So we getting close.
Yeah, okay, all right.
On the administrative side, we've been talking about trying to update our policy manual for some time, and kind of how it is now. Every time we come up with a new policy, we just say, what's the next number that follows? You know, policy 87 could be the current one we have. Okay, what's the next policy? 88. So things don't really align with a common theme in the policy manual. So I talked about one way to do this before with Chief Cermak, and I briefed Chief Kraske on it as well, and he's in favor of it. And there is, and sorry about my military background, but there is a type of system that the military uses both on each individual service and the joint staff, where everything is always referred to. If you say this is through J1, they're going to know that that's personnel related, whether it's N1, A1 for Army, Navy. Everybody knows. They hear 4, that's logistics. They hear 7, that's computer or training. So in a similar vein, I've come up with a set of 9 series of subject matter. So you see 100 through 900. So personnel would be 100. So any kind of personnel policy that we have would be under Chapter 1,
Right,
and have
right.
a 100 series type of policy number to it. And that goes all the way down. So some examples, like the old policy 1 and 2, in my opinion, really are not a policy. It's more or less from an administrative, just serves as a cover letter almost. But if you look down some of the other line items, like the general or the radio operations policy, that could be in a 300 series because it's an operational policy thing. Something for personal protective equipment, which is safety related, can be in a 900 series. So,
Right.
so that's the type of format changes we can do. So it makes whenever any member of the department says, I need to look at a policy that has to do with emergency vehicle operations. And then they know it's operations. We're going to go to Chapter 3, which is operations, and there'll be an index. Okay, here it is, the 3 policies we have on driver operators. So instead of saying on our EVIP program, okay, you got to know policy 17, 18, 23, and 41. People don't know that unless they go through every policy number in the book, which ones are related to emergency vehicle. And this way, okay, boom, they're going to know it's all
Right.
in the training, what have you. So that's the avenue we're pursuing to update the policy manual. So that's on my docket to do.
That makes a lot of sense. That's the way we did it at the school district.
Yeah,
Yeah, Commissioner Sloan Buchanan, as a former colonel, will really appreciate that, I think. So she's very understanding of that from the Army standpoint. But this way, it's easily accessible and
right.
yeah. So other than that, I will take any questions.
You want to go off that screen so we can see the other commissioners? Our speak up commissioners, does anyone else have questions for Assistant Chief Tenhoopen? I want to thank you for your presentation. I thought that was very, very good.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will definitely hear more early next year about updating the administrative manual as far as a retrieval system goes. Okay, thank you. Okay, now unfinished business. We're going to talk about Resolution 12102025-01, proposed 2026 budget, presented by Finance Director Crum. Go ahead, Randy.
Yes, good afternoon, Commissioners. Excuse me. Before you is the proposed resolution to adopt the 2026 budget. And you'll recall, if you look at the second page of the resolution, we adopt our budget at the fund level. So we don't go through with the board and, figure out every single line item. We've gone over in the budget workshop the different areas of responsibility and the different types of expenses. But once we come to the resolution, we summarize it all and give it to you by fund. And so that is technically what you're approving tonight if you pass this resolution. So you can see we have a number of funds there, about 10 of them, and they all serve different purposes. And in total, we show $49.3 million in resources and $34.4 million in uses. We did our budget workshop back in October, if you recall. The numbers have not changed significantly since that review of the proposed budget. The major change was I reduced the beginning fund balance by about 350,000. And that was just as a safety net, with our payroll true up,
Okay.
expenses that we may have.
Okay.
So adjusted that. The revenues have not changed a penny. Expensives, we've gone up and down on a couple different things, like our insurance premiums for next year. I originally budgeted 5%. I've got an update. They said we should forecast 11% increase. So I put that in there, but then a couple other things went down, like the HRIS system came in cheaper than what we were originally budgeting for. So they all leveled out to be within about $7,000 of what we initially looked at back in October. So no significant changes. So I'd be happy to take any questions, but I would like to seek a motion to
Okay.
approve the budget tonight if
Thank you.
you see so.
Before we move to the motion, is there any questions from commissioners at this time for a second? Okay. Well, they're shouting out if there were, so, okay. So, okay. I will entertain a motion to approve resolution 12102025-01, adopting the 2026 annual budget as presented.
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Schreiber, second by, was that Holly? Okay, by Commissioner Buchanan. Okay, any more discussion? Okay, call the roll.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly. Yes. Commissioner Ertley. Yes. Commissioner Schreiber,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloan Buchanan.
Yes.
Thank you, it's unanimous.
Okay, unanimous. Thank you very much. Appreciate that very much.
Yes, and just as a
okay.
footnote, sometimes in December, I will bring you a second resolution amending the current year's budget, but I've looked through each of the funds and
Excuse me,
forecast.
I'm sorry. When will you do that?
If I'm gonna do it, usually it's at this meeting,
Yeah?
but the footnote is, I do not believe we need it this year.
okay.
So that's why I didn't bring
okay,
it to you,
okay.
but a lot of times you'll
I
do
wasn't
both
sure you
motions
were
at the same
speaking
time.
when you said what month you were referring to.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah, no,
all
I
right,
was just
okay.
referring to the 2025
That's-
budget.
that's fine,
Does
okay.
not appear to need amendment this year, so that's why you're not seeing it this
Very
time,
good.
so. Thank you very much,
Okay.
I appreciate all the
Thank you.
staff and commissioners' help in putting this budget together, and I think it'll lay the groundwork for a good year next year.
Good. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Appreciate it, Randy. Have a nice holiday. And, okay, now I'm going to move on to new business. And Chief Crass, Commissioner, our HR Director is ill today, and I'm sorry to hear that. But I'm gonna let Chief Kraske say a few words about this. But item A is authorizing the Human Resources Director to execute various planned administration actions necessary to the proper administration of various benefit plans as authorized by majority vote of the governing board. And it's proposed motion, new business item A.
Yeah.
And and I'll let you speak to that, and then I'll ask for the motion.
Sounds great. I can kind of, in summary, lump A and B together, and you can
Right.
obviously
Sure.
vote on them separately. And yeah, Allison has been sick for a couple days, so I'm happy to speak to this. We're not asking for the approval to begin new agreements or to sign agreements without commission's approval, but we have existing agreements that need to be. We have choices to make each year. These
Right.
could be benefit related. We have some battalion chiefs that are retiring. We're expecting retirements of 2 battalion chiefs in May of 2026, and those discussions have already begun about kind of what the options are for them, kind of vacation and sick leave cash outs and things, and what's the best tax advantages for them. And that really started this conversation in that if we're going to make those decisions, we have to make them now before the end of 2025, so they're in effect in 26. And so that is one example of a decision that we will need to make annually, and it's not something that Allison and I feel needs to necessarily come to the commission each year, but it's just the battalion chiefs as a group would say, okay, is anyone retiring this year? What do the four of us want to do? They would make a decision because they all have to make the same decision, not an individual decision. And we would fill out the proper documentation and submit it to the organization. And same with the next one with Item B is authorizing the fire chief to execute a memorandum of understanding with Local 3438 defining certain medical benefit savings plans. And it's the same thing, is there's some choices that can be made each year. And
Right.
so it's just, okay, at this time, what do we want to do for next year? We discuss it and submit the proper form.
In my opinion, you have this authority already. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying I think this is sort of superfluous, but I'm willing to support it because you need to get on with it and get that stuff done. It's important housekeeping.
Exactly.
And as I said, if you came to me after the fact and said you'd done this, I wouldn't argue that you didn't have the authority to do it, but I would,
Appreciate that.
but I just want to support it that way. So, first of all, I will deal with the first item is that I need a motion authorizing the Human Resources Director to execute various benefit plan documents only as necessary for the routine administration of such plans, as necessary to conform to legal mandates, and as necessary to execute plan-related governing board actions as they may take from time to time. I
So
need a
moved.
motion.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Schreiber. Second? Second by Holly. Commissioner Sloan Buchanan. Okay. Any other questions of the chief? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is anyone opposed? Okay, unanimously. Thank you very much. And then moving on to the other half of that explanation in what you're trying to do, and that is, just let me take a breath and I'll read through this again. I need a motion authorizing the fire chief to execute a memorandum of understanding with IAFF Local 3438, subject to prior legal review and validation of memorandum of understanding provisions by the participating plan administrators, authorizing the creation of plan provisions commencing 2026 and continuing, which creates a mandatory contribution to an existing medical savings type account, provided the memorandum of understanding defines specific employee groups participating in an annual vote and subject to the simple majority of such participants, and provided the percentage of available vacation and or sick leave to be contributed that would otherwise be provided the employee upon their separation shall be defined and may not vary by individual, nor may be changed by a group from year to year, but which such percentage may vary between designated groups, and provided the memorandum of understanding shall define for each designated group the specific established medical savings type account to which that group's contributions shall be made.
So moved.
Thank you. So moved by Commissioner Schreiber, second by Holly again. Thank you. Okay. All right. Please don't prank me and ask me to read that over again, but I think I did it right. So, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, unanimously passed. Okay, that's housekeeping.
Okay, perfect.
We're good on that. Now I will move on to, thank you everybody for that. I will now move on to the chief's report.
Very good, thank you. I'm going to begin the chief's report with Chief Tenhopen, just giving kind of a quick update on flood activity here in Stanwood and Skagit County. That's going to be
Very timely.
Yeah.
Sure. So, as you know, Stanwood City put up their flood wall on Monday in preparation for what was coming at the first storm, not to mention now the second storm. And then today, through the use of the high school, we filled up sandbags for about 5 hours, 3 of those hours with Stanwood students. And that's for providing sandbags to the citizens of Stanwood to put in various locations to grab, and also to be able to prepare for cutting off the BNSF side of the flood wall coming from the south. BNSF was there with 5 people this morning. They're all on board with the plan. They are very concerned about what's going on in Skagit County and will likely be closing their tracks due to the Mount Vernon outlook. So it may become moot whether they're going to come forward. But when we make the decision tonight to close the tracks, they're not going to have any problem with it. We had a little problem last time, but they're going to they're all on board and they're ready to go. We also have several things in place as far as the concerns to the north and the west because of what's going on with Skagit. So the Skagit River is planned to be 6 feet higher than its record river. And just looking at the chart and the forecast, it looks like it's going to be in their flood range from starting at 4 p.m. Wednesday and go all the way through till Friday. So there's a long time where that flood water is going to be higher than even the walls in Mount Vernon are concerned. So that's concerning the city of Stanwood because we're not sure of the integrity of all the dikes that run along the western side of Stanwood and coming out of the north. So there's a lot of unknowns for what's going to happen now. So I think the big push now is that whenever we put an evacuation order to anyone, that they heed that order. We're also on the fire side. We have Battalion Chief Kuntz is going to be the extra battalion chief on duty. Through the state, doing a mobilization of water rescue resources, are meeting at our training center, and they're going to be staged there to respond into Skagit County as needed. So Greg is kind of honchoing that right now as we go. As far as Stanwood, we're supposed to get, the latest thing is about 23.75 feet, which is a foot and a half higher than a previous record. That's supposed to happen at 4 o'clock in the morning at the Arlington gauge. That means by about 7 hours later, it'll be here in Stanwood. So that's about 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's the high. We're still in the very significant part of a major flood prior to getting to that high. So we'll see flood waters coming over prior to 11 o'clock. It's just that the max will be at that 11 o'clock thing. So we will likely see Marine Drive get full of water again. And what that does to North County Fire is with Warm Beach, we start getting into these islands. There's concern at Island Crossing at I-5 that there may be some lane closures, 1.5 to possibly up to 1.5 lanes.
Quite normal.
DOT was saying that they may have to close I-5 down. They're also talking about possibly shutting down State Route 9 in Arlington, where it kind of comes up in that low point over there as well. So there are going to be a lot of restrictions to how our crews can respond and where the crews will be coming to any 911 calls. So there's that concern that's out there. I just want to go over my notes and make sure I didn't. We're going to meet tonight here at 8 o'clock with the mayor and the police chief and the fire chief as kind of like an initial EOC gathering. And at that point, we'll decide whether we maintain the EOC in a full stand-up or a partial stand-up, likely a partial stand-up, just because City of Stanwood is way ahead of the game this time as opposed to the last time that just caught us by surprise at 2 o'clock in the morning, so we got everybody together. The county is going to 24-hour operations starting tonight with their EOC, and it'll likely be that way through Friday.
Would the EOC be here?
The EOC would be here, right. So when this meeting's over, I'll set it up for the standard EOC configuration. And
Is there any consideration in the plan with Stanwood regarding North County's interface and potentially partial evacuation of Josephine? I know that's happened in the past a long time ago, and I know it's enormously
Labor intensive.
incredibly labor intensive.
Yeah.
But
it's in the discussion. It's part of what we're socializing right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that. I drove down to the floodgate or flood barrier this morning.
Okay.
And the Public Works people, after they knew I wasn't just a citizen driving past the stop sign, they explained it to me.
Yeah, the school district's been phenomenal. I talked to Ryan Ovanell, the superintendent, this morning at about 7:15, and 20 minutes later, he said you'll have a busload of students coming down at 10:15. So
That's what they had
worked
told me,
out
so
great.
that's great.
We talked about Marine Drive, and I think that pretty much covers it. Where the county says they still do have some room at the fairgrounds, their fairgrounds, for livestock and horses and the type of large pets, should there be a need to evacuate some of that. So.
Thank you,
Okay.
Chief Denhoven. Emergency management is one of those things that we don't put in play for reality very often. We do
Yeah.
periodic dress rehearsals and things, so it's nice. Very much appreciate Chief Tenhoven's knowledge and experience in this area when we need it, like currently. Just as he touched on, there's some Washington State resources. There's been a state mobilization like we mobilized for wildfire incidents. There's a mobilization of water technicians that is being deployed to the training center, and they'll base out of there. So all the chairs and tables were moved out of the way, and essentially there could be 20 to 30 people sleeping in the classroom tonight because it was kind of thrown together last minute. Tomorrow night they may put them up in hotels. We're not sure, but
They're using our training center.
yeah.
And you said water technicians, what do you mean,
Like
hydrologists or?
to deploy into Skagit County. No, actually, like firefighters trained in like Swiftwater.
That
yeah.
kind of training, okay, not
So
the science
We
side of
needed an
water.
area they
Okay.
could park trailers and boats and things, and so the call was made, and
Okay,
we said,
well,
yeah,
that's good.
Happy to help.
Yeah,
We're upstaffing some additional staff tonight. Chief Rice just stepped out of the room, but he's upstaffing a couple additional units tomorrow that we may, ideally, we hope we don't need, but we may need tomorrow because of all this flooding activity. And we're planning at simultaneously, Chief Hickman's planning for paramedic coverage, ALS coverage for our contract partners in Arlington Heights and in Oso, because we won't be able to necessarily access them on Highway 530. So we're going to deploy resources on the other side of the flood. Yeah, so that's all currently happening. On a more positive note, we've got the holiday events in Arlington and Stanwood have all kicked off. The tree lighting in Stanwood, the Santa Parade in Arlington last Saturday. We're participating in all those events. The Santa Run has kicked off, and in 5 nights, we've collected over 9,000 pounds of food and about $2,000 in monetary donations. So it's
Trending to beat last year's record.
okay. Very good. I met with Paul Ellis, the city administrator in Arlington, just for the quarterly fire marshal meeting last week. It was very well. They're happy with everything that North County is providing them. We were supposed to have the fire academy, the 25-2 academy, ends tomorrow officially, and we're supposed to have graduation tomorrow night at Stanwood High School. And just a few hours ago, the decision was made to cancel that because if Stanwood has to evacuate, like
Sure.
Josephine or whatnot, it's going to be to Stanwood
Right.
High School. So that
that's
unfortunately was
that's
canceled.
too bad, but I understand.
Yeah, and you know, a short discussion took place a few hours ago about are we going to try and reschedule this heading into the holidays? It may not happen, so we may bring our 2 recruits to like the first meeting in January and recognize them here.
Yeah.
Thank you for approving the budget, $34.5 million. Randy, thank you for all of your efforts on that. And unless the commission sees fit, this is our last meeting of 2025.
Well, except that, like I said, I tentatively scheduled a meeting for the 21st at 1 o'clock
Okay.
that we can cancel if we really don't need it. I wanted it on the calendar just in case, but be happy, like I told Carrie, the Thursday or so before that meeting, if there's nothing urgent, we can just put out the word that it's been canceled.
Okay.
But for now, it's at least, on the calendar. But
Very good. Happy to answer any questions, and we'll keep the commission apprised of any flooding activity here the next 48 hours.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. Any questions for the chief? Okay, then we're going to go into executive session for 5 minutes. Okay, so everyone will have to step out, and then we'll have
Return at 4:50.
yeah, we'll return at 16:50 here. So we'll take a minute to clear the room out and. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Doug.
We're live.
Van Hopen.
This is Chief Ten Hoopin. We have changing his title to Fire Commodore, whatever that is, but it's got a lot of leaf on it. It's not good. Okay, thank you. Okay, for our board discussion, commissioner comments, wanted to say it's not our intention to have another meeting this month, but we do have it scheduled on the calendar for Monday, December 22nd at 1 o'clock, if we need it. And I will be informed as chair by the chief and Carrie in the days of the previous week. If there is something that must be done for the year end, we will go ahead with that meeting. And if there's nothing that comes up between now and then, we will go ahead and cancel that meeting. So I've just wanted it on the calendar in case we needed it. So stay tuned, and with communications from Carrie, and she will let you know if we're going to have a meeting like that. Did somebody else have some commissioner comments? Anybody that I know of? I wanted to thank our people here, Chief Ten Hoopin, Chief Kraske, for their work on the emergency management side of things, which, like I say, sometimes you practice, you don't always get real life stuff. There's a lot of news right here about projection of flooding. I'm familiar with the Skagit County watershed. That's where I grew up. And I was out on, my father called me from his farm out on Fur Island in 1990. And I was out there when the river crested in Mount Vernon at 37 feet, which was the 1990 record. And at that very moment at noon, the levee on the north end of Fur Island blew out from the bottom up. It didn't overtop. It actually let go from the hydraulic pressure on it. And I know people who were standing on the revetment in Mount Vernon looking at the river peak, and right before their eyes there at noon, as soon as the levee burst on Fur Island, it dropped. They could see the river dropping from the relief of the back pressure on that. So you're just thinking, where's this going? Oh yeah. Well, I was actually standing with the sheriff's department out on Fur Island watching that blob of water walk across Fur Island. It was a sight I've never seen before or since, to see that. And when the water got to the south, by the way, the north end of Fur Island is 8 feet higher than the south end of Fur Island down near the bay, okay? And no one thought that when the levees broke on the north end and the water moved across the western side of Fur Island down and to hit the levee in the south, it filled up like a bathtub. And one of my brothers lived in the middle of the island, and when the water went past his steps, it was 2 feet below the top of his steps. But then it hit the south end of the island and started to fill up, and it came back up over 3 feet high and flooded his house from the south to the north, opposite of where the flow was. And they ended up having to dynamite the levee in the south end to let the water go out with the tide. And no one had anticipated that. So I'm just saying, levees work until they fail. And all of a sudden, then they hold in the water instead of let it out. So just something that, takes a while to learn. So anyway, my own gut feeling is that some of the projections will be overstated on this. And I hope they are, because it'll mean less damage, but I could be wrong. So, any other questions, statements, or anything? Otherwise, I'll go to the Commissioner Schreiber.
I just wanted to tag on to your thanks to Chief Kraske and Chief Ten Hoopin for their work they've done, and for our HR team, recognizing Autumn back there, and appreciate everything our staff has been doing. And in the absence of Commissioner Oakes, I would make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second? I think that was Commissioner Ertley. Okay, all right. Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Have a nice holiday. Have a good Christmas, and probably I won't see you anymore this month, but we'll find out. And be safe over the next couple of days. So for everybody. So
Thank you.
thank you.